Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, meeting between KHMHW members and Minister of Health Kevin Bernard fails. Health workers of the nation's referral hospital wear shorts to work. Will Frolalia bus service expanded to the north? A new potable water system for Guinea Grass residents on the way. And as Ambassador David Kocho Chen nears his term in Belize, the administration of the Carazal Commercial Free Zone and Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise bid him farewell. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, February 15th, 2023.
The Integrated Ridge-to-Reef Management of the Mesoamerican Reef Ecoregion Project strengthens governance of the Mesoamerican reef system and creates conditions to position the ridge-to-reef approach in the management of water, coastal and marine resources. What is the ridge-to-reef approach? This approach consists in a broad view in plan, restore, implement government processes and good practices in human and economic activities throughout Watershed to obtain in a sustainable way its benefits and avoid deterioration and loss of resources. Some of these benefits are water, food, fertile soil, fishing, tourism, flood protection, and drought resistance. Consider that everything that happens in the upper part of the watershed has effects on its middle and lower area and mainly in the ocean. Therefore, it is necessary to promote a change in behavior in the form in which we manage natural and cultural resources of the MAR. If we continue deforesting forests, degrading soil quality, polluting surface and groundwater, the cost to replenish a natural aquifer, recharge, fertilize the land and conserve natural resources will be greater. On the contrary, if we reforest deteriorated areas, the forest recharges groundwater, allowing species to inhabit and captures carbon from the atmosphere, which contributes to resilience of climate change. Good practices in agroforestry and crops reduce runoff by erosion, which avoids the loss of soils and the dragging of agrochemicals. By reducing erosion, watersheds and rivers do not receive large amounts of sediments, agrochemicals, and pollutants. Rivers without excess sediment allow the use of water below the watershed for agriculture and aquaculture, as well as for human and animal consumption. In addition, it avoids the siltation in the hydroelectric dams. If good practices in agriculture are added and good management in the discharge of industrial waters allows rivers to continue bringing their benefits to the lower part of the watershed, and by discharging water waste with proper treatment, we keep wetlands and mangroves healthy. A mangrove barrier on the shoreline helps stop excess sediment into the ocean, protects the shores from flooding, and provides habitat for terrestrial and marine species. Healthy coasts without excess sediment or pollution and with protected ecosystem give the ocean the ability to regenerate itself to keep coral reefs and seagrasses healthy. In this way, the ocean has the opportunity to produce food for marine species, for human consumption, and contribute to counteracting climate change. This vision demands coordination between the relevant actors and the stakeholders from the regional, national, and local levels. Only if we change the way we treat watershed resources will we have the opportunity to have these benefits. Watersheds conserved make healthy reefs.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. The Executive Board and members of the Carl Huschner Memorial Hospital Workers Union, KHMHW, met yesterday with Minister of Health and Wellness, Kevin Bernard, to highlight shortfalls and the crisis within the institution that are affecting the delivery of care to patients. On the top of the list are shortages in medical supplies. Minister Bernard met with the union after they sent notification of probable protest by arriving to work today wearing short pants, followed by industrial action that would eventually lead to a walkout. After 3 hours of discussion, all parties decided to continue dialogue, and with that was the understanding that today's protest could be placed on pause. But that did not happen. This morning, healthcare workers of the KHMH arrived at work in shorts to carry out their duties. So, what went wrong? According to President of the KHMHW, Andrew Beard, the membership, after yesterday's meeting, decided to continue with the plan of action.
There is a sense of demoralization from the membership and staff of Carl Huschner in reference to the working conditions and so forth within the institution, and they believe that a clear message needs to be sent, but not just by the virtue of sitting in a meeting and being satisfied with what's being presented to us.
Are you all being called to task, or is the administration saying that, well, we have a dress code and you all are not adhering to the dress code?
Yes, indeed. That was brought to our attention this morning in a meeting, and the union make it clear to management that in accordance with Chapter 304 of the laws of Belize, employees have a right to partake in union activities, and we can only consider any intimidation or so from management or any member staff working for management trying to intimidate our members from participating as union busting.
What do you make of the criticism that, okay, this might be in bad faith because you guys spoke yesterday with the management of KHMH, sort of like call off any industrial activity this morning?
Well, I want to remind you, in the interview yesterday I made it clear that the union could not, the executive of the union out of that meeting could not have make any declaration in reference to cease the plan of action, because it was mandated by the membership in a membership meeting for the plan of action to be taken place.
For the time being, the healthcare union members will face no sanctions for today's protest.
From the meeting held this morning in reference to that, we have came onto an agreement, and management for now, at least for now, have agreed that they will cease from any further action, and until we meet with our membership this afternoon to discuss matters from yesterday, as well as whether or not we will continue with the plan of action.
But not wearing their regular attire for work today did not impede the health staff from tending to patients.
Even though they recognize that we are in our sharp pants and we're dressed like this, we still continue to give our care. Our care will never stop. We give the best care that we can give. We continue to provide what we have. What Mr. Bearden mentioned is that we are frustrated in the emergency room, And maybe in all the wards because we have a shortage of supplies, and the shortage of supplies has been happening for the last year and a half. And so it's not about the patients are not getting the proper care from us. I think the patients are getting the proper care, but they're not getting the materials, the supplies that they need for us to give them the proper care. So from our heart, we continue to give the proper care. We will always give it the proper care, but we need our supplies and materials to continue to give that proper care.
While dialogue with the management of the KHMH will continue, this evening the membership of the union will decide whether they will forego the plan of action or step it up by joining the joint unions in their protest, which we will tell you about shortly. For the KHMHW, the needs and concerns of the KHMH and the failure in the health system must be addressed. One of them is, as mentioned previously, shortages in medical supplies and equipment. While both the Minister of Health, Kevin Bernard, and the CEO of the KHMH, Chandra Cancino, that shortages in medical supplies and pharmaceuticals is being addressed, President of the KHMHW says the reality faced on the ground is different.
Obviously, if that was the case, the plan of action mandated by our membership and staff members would not continue.
Every time we talk to the minister, every time we bring it up, they fire back. No, the problem has been solved. It was just a tendering issue, and we've solved it. And maybe there are shipping delays. But the CEO herself, she gave a statement where she says there are hundreds of this, thousands of that, 100,000 of this. So someone's lying.
Lies cost lives. Like yesterday, and like the excerpt numbers that the CEO have sent to you guys, she stated that was as of the 7th of February. Our first meeting in reference, follow-up meeting in reference to shortages was the 24th of January. So she is saying that before the 7th of February there was a shortage. But come the 7th of February, all of a sudden, because the unions and the staff are agitated, you find out that supplies come. This is the reason why our membership are saying we're not going to buy it. We need continuity in the supply chain.
I spoke to one of my doctors this morning, and they told me that a young man came in with a fracture to his knee. We needed to put a full cast on the patient. The doctor actually told me that he had to send the patient to go and buy the cast material, which is a fiberglass. Each set of the fiberglass or each little bag costs $45. So what we're saying is that the private and all the other maybe institutions out there have the material. Why is it that KHMH don't have the material? And this has not been happening just now. It has been happening for a while. Last week I had to put on a cast on a patient as well from high school. The patient came playing again football, fractured his tibia, and I had to put a cast. We didn't have cast. I had to end up putting on 2 different color casts on the patient because we didn't have the cast material. But it's not only cast. It's Foley catheter, it's glove, it's sutures, it's IV giving set, it's inferior syringes. It's a lot of different things. We have talked. We also spoke to the minister yesterday about our CT scan machine that we use in emergency as a diagnostic tool. We still don't have a CT scan machine after 4 years, and I don't know what is taking so long. They, of course, have explained about the tendering process and all the issues that they need to go through, all the red tape, but a CT scan machine is something that is so important in helping us to get to a proper diagnosis of our patient and treating them very properly,
As it relates to the purchasing of inferior supplies, the union is of the opinion that the lack of quality control has led to the issue.
Whoever is tendering the medication, the equipment, something is wrong there, because that person, whoever is doing it, have no type of medical background. They're just going and buying maybe the cheapest stuff, and then I don't know where it comes or how it comes into the ministry, but the ministry, of course, have to purchase it from the tendering people, and that's where I think the issue is. So I told them clearly, whoever is on the board, whoever is tendering the supplies, should have some type of medical background to what you will be purchasing, because there are different type of tapes, there are different type of syringes, and of course, someone will say, you know what, this one is not working. Now, their defense is, well, we're the check and balance. So when the instrument, the material come to us, then we need to write back reports to them to tell them this one isn't effective, this one isn't working, right? So it's like we are the ones who are supposed to give them that information instead of them having the proper information, the tendering process before it comes to us. So you know what, this wouldn't work. This one costs 99 cents, the next one costs $1.25. Let's try to get the better one, the better quality material instead of getting the most inferior one or the most cheapest one.
And with all those concerns now on the table, and after what he considered an amicable meeting leading to long-term solutions, today the Minister of Health and Wellness, Kevin Bernard, told us he was disappointed to hear about today's protest carried out by the KHMHW.
I find it a bit disappointing because I felt that we engaged them in the process to let us work together and find a solution to the concerns that they have raised. And just like everything, I think genuinely when you really sit down and look at the situation, these are things that could be easily solved at the lower level. And so I'm hoping that better heads will prevail and that they will really take a sit back and look at, understand what we had agreed to, and hope that we could find a solution. Don't necessarily have to go through all this process. At the end of the day, it is the people who require the service that are being affected. So while one will say, oh, we don't have the necessary tools, we don't have the necessary resources, but then if you are walking out, you are leaving patients unattended, you are disenfranchising those same Belizeans you say you care about. So I really want to ask them to take a step back and look at what we discussed yesterday and let us work together so we can achieve the same objectives, which is to provide quality health care for Belizeans.
According to the minister, when all parties left the meeting yesterday, it was with the idea that a collective bargaining agreement will be formulated.
So at that meeting, Kami, they raised the different points. One of them, they were talking about job conditions, security, job security, uniform allowance. They also brought up the issue of contracts for security guards. And many of these things that were raised, however, requires a collective bargaining agreement. So what would we do? We agreed at the end of the meeting that the union would be given 6 months. They had already had 6 months. The board had already approved 6 months from July last year for the now president to have draft a CBA to come to the board with it. However, remember now that this president of the union sits on the board, so he should raise these issues or concerns at the board level. In some instances, some of these things have not been raised at the board level because it has to go through the necessary process. So we ended with the fact that we will agree in 6 months' time, the union will bring to the management a draft collective bargaining agreement, working together with the Labour Department, working together with management and the board, to try to come with an amicable draft that both parties can really sit down and iron the things out. There are certain things that they also agree that the management have committed to, that management will give the union more time whenever they require meetings with the management team. And that was also a commitment that was given at the meeting.
As for the issue of shortages and quality of medical supplies, those could have been addressed easily if due process was followed, says the minister.
It was obvious that some people prefer to have leaked certain things to the media as opposed to do the right reporting that needs to be done. Quality assurance, they need to do a quality assurance for every item they use within this hospital setting. And so if that was done properly, the quality assurance unit, who have been working very closely with the ministry, our drug inspector unit, and our CMS, have been working very closely. So if certain things that were raised, that have been raised on their letter, was done in the right manner, many of these issues would not have been out there. Not necessarily that there are shortages. Yes, there will exist some level of shortages, and it's a global issue. But at times it's not because of the fact that they don't have the item. A specific item may not be in a certain size. For example, gloves. There are several sizes of gloves. You have size from 5, 6, 6.5, 7, all the way to 8, 8.5 sometimes. And maybe a doctor or a nurse prefer a certain size of gloves. And so because they don't have that at the ward, not necessarily that it doesn't exist at their own inventory in KHMH.
And like the matter of shortages of medical supplies and equipment, other concerns presented by the KHMHW could have been dealt with internally, says Bernard.
The biggest issue there, which we saw, and they themselves agreed to it, is there have been a lack of proper communication within the system, within the KHMH. And that is what we all agreed yesterday, that will be improved, that there will be more discussions had with the union, and not only one representative of the union, but the union executive. Some of these members, I believe, and I from their reaction when I asked certain questions, that they themselves were not really aware of some of the things that have been raised. For example, in the release, one of the things that they were talking about was about a uniform allowance, assuming that the nurses were not getting a uniform allowance. At KHMH, all nurses have gotten their uniform allowance up to the year 2022. The 2023 one is due in August because it's paid in August of every year. But it was another issue, an issue that has not even been taken to the board for a final decision. Whatever decision is made, when that is taken to the board, if the nurses at KHMH feel that they want their allowances and they don't want the scrubs, then that's a decision that the board will make. That is not yet, but it went out in a release as if that was an issue.
As mentioned, the KHMHW membership is meeting as we speak, and we understand that the plan of action continues tomorrow as planned, since the union believes the KHMH administration is engaging in union busting. So this means that healthcare workers will once more carry out their duties in shorts tomorrow, and we could possibly be facing a go slow on Friday. With that in mind, we asked Bernard whether the health system is prepared for industrial action.
We have to be prepared for any issue or any specific action. I know that today the Deputy Prime Minister and the other members that are meeting with the joint unions to try and come up with a solution as well. I know they are demanding their increment. There are certain things and the government is prepared. And that's one of the reasons we, as a government, the Prime Minister is committed to working and sitting together, and that's why we have the Deputy Prime Minister and the team there talking, so that we come up with an amicable solution. Do they deserve their increment? Of course they do. Can we afford it at this time? Possibly, possibly not. But we have to, that's where negotiation takes place. And similarly with the KHMH, that's how we feel that they should understand that at the end of the day, these are essential services, and we must be prepared and ensure that industrial action cannot just be done simply just as that, especially for essential services. We must remember that it's people's lives we're talking about. And I will repeat Mr. Baird's own statement, lies, what he said? Lies causes lives. I will leave it at that.
And today, the CEO of the KHMH, Chandra Cancino, also expressed disappointment in the action taken by the membership of the KHMHW. But at the same time, she comprehends the move.
But we respect the union's right to their representation. Of course, the supervisors acted, we don't have a schedule of what they're going to do. We were being told a little bit here and there. So of course supervisors acted in as they should to hold the staff accountable to the dress code policy. This is a medical care institution. We take care of patients. Shorts is an infection control issue, and so they issued a few notices this morning, I think. But when we saw it, we called in the union executive. They immediately came into a meeting with us this morning at about 9 o'clock, and then we agreed to hold back a little until they meet with their membership and make a decision as to how they want to go forward.
Because I believe they refer to it as union busting.
You refer to what?
The dress coding as union busting.
Well, there is a whole process that needs to be followed under the labor law. We have already reached out to the labor commissioner, and she has advised us as well.
Cancino is hopeful that cooler heads will prevail and the health system will not witness a go slow or walkout.
We were taking it one day at a time and really hoping for good faith. That is where we still are at, acting in good faith and hoping that the union will join us in solving the problems, because we all know what the problems are. I think we've heard them over and over. We are solving some of them. Some of them, as they were discussed yesterday, will take a little bit longer because it involves a whole tender process. They all understood and they all agreed, so we are looking for a positive way forward.
Do you feel like it was an act of bad faith, though, the fact that they went through with the protests after yesterday's long, 4-hour-long meeting?
Well, the truth is that it was a short time for them to be able to reach out to their membership, and they did say that they needed to reach back out to their membership to get their whatever mandate, because they had already agreed on these actions. So, it was, as I said, disappointing, but I understand that, that process also does take a while. So we're waiting it out and hoping for the best.
And finally, do you still think that moving forward you guys will be able to make good progress and to be able to mend the relationship between the union and the authority?
Well, if what they say and what they have committed to is true, then yes. Because we had another meeting this morning. It went fairly well again, and the agreement is to come to a solution and go forward and ask the Labour Department, the Ministry of Labour, to join us in the process to ensure that everybody knows what they're doing and we're going in the right direction. So I'm looking forward to that.
The loudest noise in the market for some time now has been that commuters across Belize want safer and more affordable buses for traverse the roads, whether for leisure or work. When the new Brisson administration formed government and the portfolio for transport was given to Minister Rodwell Ferguson, he pledged to upgrade the transport system. At first instance, he gave bus owners until June of 2021 to make adjustments that would better off runs and services. That deadline was extended to December of last year, but upgrades remained stagnant. And as commuters complained, Floralia, operating in the south, came into the picture, providing quality service and secured runs between Belize City and Toledo. While Minister Ferguson would like to replicate the type of service provided by Floralia, that has proven to be difficult. The latest update in the transport business has been that of Rich's Bus in the south, whose owners lawyered up after their legal bus document expired on February 13, 2022, and was not renewed. Apart from that, we understand Floralia wants to expand its run to the north, and that idea has largely been welcomed by commuters on social media.
Remember, it's a 2-year contract, if you want to call it. And if you're an employee with any employer and your 2-year contract expires, they have an obligation to renew your contract. I don't remember the details and back of the contract, but there are some simple things that their runs can be revoked. And over the years and the months, we have seen that this bus line has been degraded. I say I'm this unfortunate. I know Mr. Richie very well. I know his wife. We are all friends, but they have to do a job as a minister.
Sir, can you talk to us then about Floralia and how it's expanding? You just said they're the only ones that are qualified. I know that they had applied for runs in the north. Has the Department of Transport notified you what's happened with those? Are those being approved? It's been a bit.
I think it's still in the making. I remember it's not only the Department of Transport. We have a wide margin to deal with. So, Ministry of Tourism is putting pressure on the Department of Transport to let the buses coming from Guatemala and Mexico, because it's affecting them as tourism. The overnight tourism by land is not coming in because those buses are coming to the country. So hope maybe down the road you might see some other changes when it comes to that. Because we are a country and we are trying to increase and expand revenue to run a country.
But are you saying, Minister, that Floralia is in line or stands to benefit from contracts like that? Because you had ADO, but now you're saying there is a company in Belize that's to very high standards. So why should we be having companies from outside coming into Belize offering that service when they're not offering us that same kind of opportunity?
I'm having a meeting with the Mexican Minister of Transportation before the end of the month in Mexico City. And once we can come to terms, I will go there and argue for my Belizean bus operators that if they can come into a certain part of Belize, we want to go at least to Cancun or Merida. So that is my intention.
We will be following the development of that meeting scheduled before the end of February, and we will see whether Belizean buses will be allowed to make runs as far as Cancun, Mexico, and whether buses like ADO will be given the green light to enter Belize as before. A similar exercise will be planned with neighboring Guatemala. The captain of a boat which struck an American teenager swimming off Ambergris Key earlier this afternoon has been detained by police. According to police reports, 17-year-old American student Logan Ceylon Pratt of the state of Oklahoma was along with her mother, Tamra Lee, 56, swimming off the Mata Chica resort at about 2:15 this afternoon. Tour guide Jesse James Smith of San Pedro Tong passed through the area, coming back from a tour at Mexico Rocks, when a 25-foot fiberglass skiff named Matthew he was driving apparently struck the teenager, causing a noise similar to hitting a log. Both women sustained injuries and they were transported to Ambergris Hope Clinic, where she was pronounced dead around 3 p.m. Logan and her family had come to Belize 2 days ago. Investigations by police into the incident continue. The boat belongs to Belize Pro Dive Center Limited and is licensed and insured. Coming up next, the joint unions engage in industrial action in the form of a sick out. Stay tuned.
¿Quieres dinero rápido por tus prendas de oro? Entonces aprovecha de los grandes préstamos y empeños de oro en Monica's Pawn Shop. Nuestra baja tasa garantizada de solo el 10% en todas las joyas de empeño. Eso no es todo. También empeñamos televisores, compramos chatarra de oro y puede empeñar su vehículo y aún continuar conduciéndolo. Visite Monica's Pawn Shop en nuestra ubicación en Ciudad Belice, número 128 Cemetery Road, en Ciudad Belmopan, en el número 5 Garden Plaza y en el municipio de Orange Walk, en número 2 Belize Corozal Road. Llámenos al 207-0970 y obtenga más dinero por sus joyas de oro.
¡Es hoy! ¡Por fin es hoy!
A rodar. ¡Esto va a estar bueno!
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Operations at the Belize City Magistrate Court this morning came to a halt as a number of staffers engaged in industrial action in the form of a sick-out. Reports are that key staff members, apart from the magistrates and court prosecutors and orderlies that are essential to the functions of the court, all called in sick simultaneously. Posts such as cashiers and the clerk of court have been empty since the start of the business day, and the director of public prosecutions reportedly ordered that all matters be adjourned and the building be closed. Following the closure of the Belize City Magistrates Court, several other government departments engage in industrial action, with magistrates' courts in the Cayo and Corozal districts on go slow. We understand the Department of Agriculture also operated with few staff members, while the Elections and Boundaries Department, Treasury Department, and Magistrates Court in San Ignacio and the Benquevejo closed due to sick outs. The action coincided with a meeting of the government of Belize and the Joint Union Negotiating Team, JUNT, on the issue of the reinstatement of increments which began today. That meeting lasted 4 hours, after which the media spoke with senior government representatives on negotiating team Cordell Hyde and Henry Usher.
We discussed the main points and many other points that are ancillary and some very substantive and relevant to the main issues at hand. I think we left there feeling that we both have things that we have in common and have issues that we need to take back to our relevant sides. And so I think they will meet back with their people and we will take back to Cabinet whatever it is that we discussed. And then we'll meet again, I believe, in the next 2 weeks. That's March 2nd, I believe, March 2nd. The closest we could have met. We were hoping to meet next week, but it's pushed back about a week.
Tell us about some of the sticking points. I know increments, pension reform, those were some of the things going into it.
Well, robust discussions, those are the main points. And I think we had a very healthy discussion, a very constructive one. I don't want to prejudice what they will take back to their people. I think it's important that we give them the courtesy of them discussing with their folks the issues before we go public with that.
Ultimatum was being given April 1st or else. Is that still on the table?
That's not the spirit of conversation that we have. When we meet, we don't deal with ultimatums. We don't talk at each other. We talk to each other. And I think that it was really the usual atmosphere where we are able to engage.
And while some might believe the sick-out will have repercussions for those who participated in it, Minister Usher says the Brazilian administration respects the freedom of expression and dialogue.
Well, we have to respect that right. We have to respect their right to express themselves as public officers, as union members, and as fighting for what they feel they're entitled to. And that is a process that we had a discussion on just now. The whole idea of reform is one that we both sides agree on. We have to do reform. We have to look at public sector reform on a whole in terms of the way the government is run, the way we raise revenue, tax reform. All of these issues are issues that we need to look at so that we can have a system that is as efficient and as fair as possible. And I think that is the main issue. I think if you ask any public officer, they just want the system to be fair. They want to make sure that what they are getting is what they deserve, and they have every right to express themselves how they want.
The government has insisted that, yes, there must be pension reform, that there must be contributory pension. The unions are resisting that, saying start that with new employees. Do you see that functioning, the suggestion from the unions?
We had a robust discussion on that just now, and certainly it's something that we will continue to talk about. We meet again in 2 weeks, and I'm sure that we can then give a more detailed report on what is discussed after that meeting. Well, we have to make sure that the government offices remain open. We have to make sure that the services provided to the public continue. So yes, the Ministry of Public Service will ensure that the services provided by all government departments must continue.
And if the sick-out persists, government is prepared to ensure that government offices remain open for the Belizean people to acquire its services. In honor of Belize's bilateral relationship with Taiwan and in sight that Taiwan Ambassador David Ko Cho Chen, who is at the end of his 2-year service in Belize, will be leaving the country soon, a ceremony to unveil a monument and plaque took place today at the Corozal Commercial Free Zone. The administration of the zone, along with the Board of Directors and the Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, MAFSE, organized the event and erected the monument adjacent to the fire station, highlighting the robust friendship and partnership between Taiwan and Belize.
The Republic of China and the ambassador, it's not the first time they have helped the Corozal Free Zone, and it's more than that. They have helped the country in many ways, and at some point we have to show that gratitude for them. So what else can we do to do something very symbolic to represent and highlight the gratitude that we have and that friendship that Corozal Free Zone have with the Republic of Taiwan.
Talk to us about some of the gifts or the donations that Free Zone has received from the Republic of China, Taiwan, through this particular ambassador.
Okay, through this particular ambassador, we have last year received a brand new fire engine truck that you have right next to us. It's a Mercedes-Benz. And it is not only for the Corozal Free Zone, let me tell you more. It helps Corozal Tong. Whenever the Corozal Tong fire engine is not working, we are also on standby. We work together, and vice versa. If we need help from the Corozal Tong fire department, they also assist us. So we have a very good working relationship. We have also already sent a petition for them to continue working with us and to give us another truck, for compactor truck, to continue to give that service to our commercial free zone investors. As you know, we have in-house maintenance crew that keep the maintenance of the entire free zone. It's like a little town. We have to manage the free zone. We have to pick up garbage on a daily basis, and we need a next compactor truck.
Ambassador Chen has worked very closely with the Ministry of Agriculture, particularly through the Taiwan International Cooperation and Development Fund, ICDF, breeding, sheep and goat production and guidance system enhancement project, which is already in phase 2. Today, he expressed gratitude to those who organized the symbolic event and pledged to continue lobbying for Belize.
This year marks the 34th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Taiwan and Belize, which our friendship can grow stronger and our partnership will be maintained forever. Taiwan Embassy will continue to work with the government of Belize and the Corozal Free Zone to advance the benefit of Belizean people and strengthen the bonds of friendship and cooperation between Belize and Taiwan. In addition, I would like to take this opportunity to bid my farewell to all my friends in Corozal. Time and the tide wait for no man. Time flies fast indeed. I have been in Belize for 2 years. Now it's time to complete my tour of duty and to say goodbye to my good friends, all my good friends in Belize. Over the past 2 years, I and my teammates spared no effort, did our utmost to travel as far as we could, to reach out to the people, to know more about Belize and understand what Taiwan can do for the Belizean people. And after walking across the whole country, I've got a conclusion. That is, you will never know what hospitality and friendship is until you come to Belize.
As for Minister Mai, he thanked Ambassador Chen for the warm relationship developed during his tenure and the continued support for Belize in agriculture and other areas.
We have received tremendous help, not only the free zone, but my ministry has benefited significantly from projects in livestock, agro-processing, training, scholarships in agriculture, scholarships in all areas. But I speak for our ministry today. In the past, they have donated to us garbage trucks, the fire truck now, and I'm certain that after King David leaves, more will come. Because ROC has, the Republic of China, Taiwan has proven to us to be our friends in good times and in bad times. And so today, this monument, a commemorative monument that we will reveal today, is our expression of a great thank you and the gratitude to the people of the Republic of China, Taiwan, the ambassador, and the people. So I thank you for.
Groundbreaking for the construction of an upgraded water system took place today in the village of Guinea Grass in Orange Walk. The community is the largest in Orange Walk South, falling under the constituency of Minister Jose Abelardo Mai. The project is funded by the Taiwanese government to the tune of 1.3 million Belize dollars, and today, as groundbreaking took place, villagers came out to witness the momentous occasion. Marking the commencement of construction was Minister Mai and His Excellency Ambassador David Kocho Chen after 1 year of lobbying.
First, Plan-Belize. And Plan-Belize clearly states that the people of the party, the government today, will enhance the livelihoods of people. So we met Ambassador about a year ago, and the first thing that came to my mind is the needs of people of Guinea Grass. Every year we have the same problem with water. It's a huge village, the village is growing, the households are growing, and the existing water system could not supply the demand of the people in Guinea Grass. So when he came up and said to me, you know, we have approved what you requested for, I was so pleased. I'm so pleased because I think that it's something that we promised. But I'm even more pleased to know that the people of Guinea Grass will live better with good water, potable water to their homes. And this is what we do in this government. We strive and struggle to improve the livelihoods of our people.
What is the last product of the project? Today is a breaking ceremony. Is it a new tank that is going to be done, or how does the facility is going to look like at the end? And when?
It's a new tank in the Felix Estate area because that's the highest area. Topographically, that's the highest location. And so we feed water from there to the areas in Felix. Felix Estate is a new area in the southern part of Guinea Grass. And that part of the village has never had good water because of low pressure, the tank cannot supply it, the altitude goes up a little. And so this system will be constructed in that area to supply the needs for that area. And then we free up the people that are in lower areas in Guinea Grass that can get water from the existing tank.
For His Excellency Ambassador Chen, the upgrade of the existing water system will change the lives of villagers.
I'm very glad to attend today's groundbreaking ceremony for the Guinea Grace Village Water System project. Actually, the Taiwan is Belize reliable and trustworthy ally, and we have already been, the diplomatic ties between Taiwan and Belize has already established for 34 years, and for over the 34 years, Taiwan's government and the government of Belize worked hand in hand together to implement numerous projects ranging from agriculture, education, e-governance, and climate resilience to infrastructure, especially infrastructure, because we know that well-constructed infrastructure is the pillar of the national development and also the backbone of economic growth. So we are very happy to be part of this project, and we sincerely hope that our small sponsorship could make a big difference for the residents of Guinea Grace Village, Orange Walk Town, and also that we hope that we could continue to work with the government of Belize and to further advance the well-being and the benefit of Belizean people. That's our hope. Yeah.
Once completed, the water system located in the Phoenix area south of Guinea Grass will provide service to more than 300 families. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, February 16th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at CTV3BelizeNews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at Facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3NewsBZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.